Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal and welcome to the combined 11 for Manchester United against Arsenal. The big one is on this Thursday. I mean, United rather lose to Liverpool, Arsenal rather lose to Tottenham, but you can never lose to Man U. And Man United can never lose to Arsenal. It's a terrible game to lose. So I'm here with two special guests. I've had them before on my other channel, Everything Football, but you're here to talk about the big one. Rowe from GGMU TV, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Delighted to be back on the channel. Thank you very much for having me on.
Awesome, and I'm James from GGMU TV stroke JT TV. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, I've really enjoyed watching these guys' vlogs this season, obviously because of obvious reasons. I mean, like the Aston Villa one, like seeing these guys cry after Bruno Fernandes missed the penalty. I mean, I wish I could like the video 3 or 4 times. That's how good it was. That's how good it was. Like, it's been spectacular so far this season as an Arsenal fan. But you're here to do the combined 11. Some of the rules will not be including the players who are injured. So players like Pogba and Xhaka will definitely not be there. We'll also not be including the players who are always sat on the bench, just like Mr. Bean. Like players like Juan Mata will definitely not be there at all. And we'll try and include players like Saka and Varane because I think they could probably make the games on Thursday, but they're still doubts, so we'll still include them. So we'll start with the goalkeepers. Anything that we disagree on, I'm going to put it in the chat and for you guys to answer. Obviously, it's an Arsenal channel, so I expect it to be biased, but let's be as fair as possible. So I'll start with you, Ruben. Let's start with the goalkeepers. De Gea and Ramsdale. Obviously, you know De Gea has been fantastic, especially in the Wolves game and also in the Man City game. Could have been more. And Ramsdale has also been fantastic so far this season. So who would you go for in your combined 11?
I mean, when you first signed Ramsdale, I thought it was a ridiculous signing. Seeing how he's been playing in between the sticks, and he's been really good. I mean, sometimes when he takes receives a shot and saves it, he does make a bit of a song and dance about it. He does like maybe over jump or make it look good for the cameras. But he is a good keeper, and De Gea kept us in it most times this season. I mean, the other night he must have made about 3 or 4 crucial, vital saves, and that's the story of most of our games this season. He's keeping us in it. But looking at both the keepers, I mean, Ramsdale's been more vital for you, I think, but De Gea's been a massive part as well. If it weren't for De Gea, I think we'd be struggling to get out of our Champions League group. But unbiased, I'm going to go with Ramsdale because he has really impressed me.
James, do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to have to go to De Gea. I think he's saved Man United multiple times. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where we would be right now. Ramsdale's done good, but he does a lot of camera saves, I think, in my opinion. And I feel like if Arsenal had Leno, I think they still would be doing well. But I think, like, Ramsdale's turned up this year. De Gea's been turning up every single year non-stop. So for me, it's De Gea.
Okay, I mean, it's 2 against 1, James. Sorry. I know De Gea has been fantastic, as I said, in many of the games. But I'm also looking at stuff like clean sheets and all that, and how many like contributions that they had into the game. I'm not sure who's better at kicking. I'm not sure how good De Gea is at kicking and ball contribution. But in terms of shot stopping, is magnificent. Like he literally got you the 3 points against Wolves, and a few more points just specifically from him. But sorry, James, we have to go for Ramsdale. But I think it's a close one. I'd say like almost 51% to 49%. That's how close it's going to be. So make sure to let us know in the comment section who you would go for, De Gea or Ramsdale. Obviously, De Gea has been there for 10 years and Ramsdale has only been there for a few months. So let's see. Next up is the left back. I'll start with you, James. We have Shaw, Telles, Tierney, and Tavares all have played so far this season. Who would you go for?
I'm not sure because Shaw's not been doing that well. Telles has been doing well the times he's played, but I'm going to have to go for Tierney currently.
Tierney. I think Tierney as well this season has been all over the place, if I'm honest, especially the first few games, especially against Chelsea and Brentford. He was caught out of position so many times. Tellers obviously hasn't played that many games, and Shaw hasn't been the same Shaw from last season. I think I included Shaw in my team of the season last time out. That's how good he was. Tavares recently has been fantastic, a good signing. Let's see what Ruben has to say.
I'm going to have to go with Tavares in this one because I think Luke Shaw's been out of form. Tellez hasn't played too much. In Tierney, I think Nuno Tavares has been brilliant since he's come in. He's a young player. He's a breath of fresh air in that defence for you. And I think he's dislodged Tierney from that role he had in the team last season. And he was one of our better players. He was a leader. He was a captain. He was like the Roy Keane and Vieira of Arsenal at one point. But he has got the passion and desire as Tierney. But I think Tavares this season played more games and been more crucial to your success the parts of the season. So I have to go with Nuno Tavares.
Again, I have to agree. I don't think if you're going to, according to current form which we are, I don't think Shaw has been great. I don't think Tierney has been great. He hasn't even been playing recently. Tellez, obviously, I know I think he's had a goal in the Champions League, but really hasn't played in the Premier League. And Tavares has been more consistent in the league. So here we are with the second Arsenal player. I'm loving this so far. Over the years, we used to include Vidic, Evra. You never used to mention any Arsenal players. So this is something new to us. Let's go to right back. Rubes, Wan-Bissaka and Tomiyasu. Who was impressed you more this season?
I have to say Wan-Bissaka this season. It's been hard to be a defender in that back line of Man United when you're conceding so many goals. And I feel like you've got a way of playing football now, and we don't really have one. And I think that doesn't benefit people that like Wan-Bissaka, that one of the better players, and he's been one of the best of the bad bunch. Wan-Bissaka. I know Jane really likes Wan-Bissaka, but for me, he hasn't shone through, and it's really hard to be a good player in that defence. So I'm going to have to go with Tomiyasu. I think the Arsenal defence has been really solid. They've got a lot of clean sheets. Ever since they lost at the Etihad, they've been really good. So I think Tomiyasu edges it on this one, because Wan-Bissaka, it's hard to play when you've got people around you that aren't putting the work in. So Tomiyasu on this one.
Yeah, Tommy, I know James is stunned, but Tommy has also been part of the defense that has kept 7 clean sheets from the last 10. He also had a couple of assists recently. Wan-Bissaka is one of the best tacklers I've ever seen in the Premier League. Like in terms of tackling and recovering when like someone gets past him is very good. But James, who would you go for this season?
Wan-Bissaka. I don't see how you could go with Tomiyasu. I get that Wan-Bissaka's maybe struggled in the defence, but I feel like that's the defensive fault. That's the two centre backs. Wan-Bissaka, like, he gives his all. He's gone up and down the pitch. People have criticised his attacking attribute that he brings, but I think this season he's done well. And then now people are criticising his defensive attribute that I think is just ridiculous. I think he's been the best player, one of them for Man United this season, out of a bad defence, like Ruben said. So I think it's just Wan-Bissaka.
I'll give you this one, James. I'll give you this one because I don't think it's been your problem at defense. I think him and De Gea have been okay. The rest of the defense has been terrible. I remember Varane. I remember Wan-Bissaka, especially from last season. The game where he played against Leipzig and he went out to the Champions League, his positioning was terrible. I think like 2 goals were scored on his side and he was all over the place. I think it was Angelino who scored those goals for Leipzig. He was all over the place. But I'll give you this one because he's tough tackling. Tomiyasu has been great, but it's only like 8 games. So I'll give you Wan-Bissaka, James. So the first United player, Wan-Bissaka. And let's start the next one with James. Gabriel or Maguire? I know you've confidently said Wan-Bissaka, but for Maguire, I remember you after that celebration, you guys were so mad. Would you still go for Maguire?
It's a tough one. I think seeing what the defensive four of Arsenal are doing right now, I'd have to go with Gabriel. I think Maguire is all over the place. He's at fault for most of our goals. He can do it in the England squad, but I don't think he can do it. He's not done it this season. So currently I'd have to go for Gabriel, but it is tight because I think Maguire on his day is exceptional and he can bring a lot to the table and he does some occasions save United, but I think it's Gabriel.
I mean, one of the best quotes I've ever had on GGMU TV was when James said, Harry Maguire, he scored against Albania. Nobody actually cares. I still remember that. That thing still goes through my head. I was like, I laughed my head out that day. Like, I was like, Maguire, frustrating United fans. Who would you go for, Ruben?
I think Maguire's obviously been part with Lindelof and he's been part with Varane. Now he's back to Lindelof and now he's got suspended and I feel like he isn't helping himself out. He shouldn't be the captain of Man United. He's had a lot of critics recently. I feel like the whole team's been out of shape, out of position, out of the floor really. And I think Gabriel, I don't know how many clean sheets, you might know the statistics about the clean sheets you've kept this season, and I think Gabriel and Ben White, which we'll come on to next, I think they have been solid together. And I think when you're talking about a centre-back, you have to consider who's next to him as well. It's all about working together when you're a centre-back, and I think Gabriel has been levels above Maguire in the air as well. I know Maguire's not been as dominant as he used to be in the air, but I think Gabriel, yeah, he's outshone him. So Gabriel for me.
Question for you, James. Did you take him? Did you strip him off the captaincy like right now with the new manager?
Yeah, I think he will go off the captaincy once Ralph sees the other players at United. I think it's all his decision in it, making the captain. He sees the players more than we do. That I've said like quite a few times, but I just don't know. I think Maguire's got a lot of passion and enthusiasm, and of course he can control that back four, but he's not controlling it at the minute. And you know, we got him captain to try and organise the back four because we were pretty shaky when Ollie came in, but he's not doing it at the minute, so I think he will get stripped.
Awesome. Back to you, Ruben. Right centre back: Varane, Lindelof, Bailey, and White. Who would you go for?
Rafael Varane, 100%. I mean, he hasn't had the worst start to his Man United career. I mean, when he's been playing, we've looked miles better. The whole team looks better when he's playing. Obviously, he was injured, then Ollie rushed him back, and then he got injured again. Then he went away with France and getting knocks there. But I think now with a new manager, he'll be sensible with his players, and he'll keep them. If they're injured, he won't play them, and he'll get them 100% fit before they play them again. And that's the thing with Varane. You just need to just be careful and just keep him fit. But the other options you've got there, Lindelof, Bailey, and Ben White. Lindelof, I feel like he has been better than Maguire recently, so I'd take Lindelof over Maguire. I know some people disagree, but I'd take Lindelof over Maguire, and Bay's not played enough. And I think Ben White's been very good, but Varane's won X amount of Champions Leagues, and Ben White played for Brighton and Leeds and Arsenal. I know that if you compare them, Varane's the superior.
What if you compare them from this season?
This season, obviously, Ben White's kept more clean sheets and probably played more matches. So you're going to have to go with who's played more matches and who's got more clean sheets and who's got the better statistics. But the better player is Varane.
Okay, James, Varane has played. I know my stats, by the way. Varane has played 6 games this season. He kept a clean sheet against Tottenham and Wolves as well away. I know he gave an assist as well for Wolves, I think, to Greenwood. Who would you go for from this 4?
It's Varane. I think Man U are a completely different team with Varane. We've not seen much of him this season, I don't think. The times where we have had difficult defeats, Varane hasn't really been playing, and the time he has played, instant Newcastle, Wolves, he's made a vital difference. And I just think it's Varane. You can look at the past. He is the better centre back, and even the present. I think Ben White's doing good. I feel like the Arsenal back four is organised, but Varane, if you're taking the current games for United, if he had better players around him, hints Maguire, he'd be exceptional, and I think he is exceptional.
No chance these guys would have left out their Champions League Varane. They always say Champions League Varane. So I'll give you that. Because he's played at least 6 games. If he hadn't played like more than 5, I would have been a bit not sure, but I'll give you that. So Varane wins the right centre-back battle. Next up, your first, James, central defensive midfielder. So in this one, you're going to pick 2. You're going to pick 2. How is going to partner who? So we have the very, very good player, Fred, the Brazilian talent, Fred, McTominay, Matic, Van der Beek, Partey, Lokonga, Niles. All of them have made an appearance or 2 this season. Fred, McTominay, and Partey in very many games. Matic has made some appearances from the bench. Same to Lokonga, same to Van der Beek. So which 2 would you pick? I didn't include the likes of Pogba, obviously.
I think Van der Beek is 1, and I think I'd have to go with between Partey or Lokonga. I think he's been a good signing for you, Lokonga, but something about Partey at Atletico Madrid, he was good. Through first season of Arsenal has been injured, but this season he's coming together, I think. So I'd have to go with Van der Beek and Partey.
Okay, Rubes, James has just gone for 1 appearance, Van der Beek, next to Partey. Would you still stick with Van der Beek, the one appearance from Van der Beek against Watford?
Yeah, if we're talking about the Premier League, he's made one appearance. Talk about a Champions League, I think he hasn't been playing enough minutes as we were like. I mean, Ainsley Maitland-Niles against Watford, I believe, that you got just scraped the win. He was superb, but the next game, and when you try playing consistently, it doesn't really work out for him. But I think there was a player in him. But Lokonga, young, not got the most experience, got the talent. He's a bit raw, but he is a good player. Partey obviously not been the best with injuries, but he's still a good player on his day, and I think he'd be good at holding that midfield in any Premier League team. Van der Beek, he is absolutely exceptional. I don't care how many minutes he's played. When he does play, he's really, really good. Matic, a bit old now, getting to the water the back end of his career, but can still not run a game, but he can still hold the back line when it's needed. And McTominay and Fred, I think, yeah, you have to rate them as a pair because they're never by themselves. And Fred, I think, in this new Ragnick system, if you can press that midfield like he did midweek, he'll be good. But McTominay, I just don't really want to comment on him. I don't think he's been up to standards, and I'd pick Van der Beek and Partey in this combined 11 in the midfield pivot.
Okay, I think it's basically one Arsenal player and one United player here, so I'll let you guys decide on the United player. We've decided on Van der Beek. So question for you, James. At the end of the season, would you get rid of Fred, McTominay, and Matic, all three of them, if you had the chance to?
Yes, can you please repeat that again?
Like those three midfielders, Fred, McTominay, and Matic, if you had the chance to get rid of all three of them at the end of the season, would you get rid of them?
I don't know because we need backup, and I feel like Fred in the system, like Ruben said, would be good. But McTominay and Matic is getting old. McTominay doesn't really suit it, I don't think. But you know, if we do get rid of all three, we've got Van der Beek, Pogba, and Bruno, and who else have we got? I think that's our main three midfielders with no supports. If one of them gets injured, then it'd be bad. You don't really want to be playing Mata, do you?
And
so I won't get rid of all three because we do need some, some support on the bench. Because we had that problem. We brought Van der Beek in for support on the bench. Obviously, he has had a lot of support on the bench, but a bit too much. But we don't want to have the same scenario that we did 2 seasons ago where we had nothing on the bench and just Pereira and Sanchez. So we do need a bit of backup. So I'll only get rid of like 1 or 2.
Which two would you get rid of, Robes?
It'd have to be Fred. Well, actually, I'm not sure because McTominay's come through the youth setup, obviously. I think Matic is the best of that, the three of them. So Fred cost us 50 million, so we've got to get some use out of him. But I'd probably get McTominay. It's hard because one costs us a lot of money, one's a youth talent, and one's an experienced player. So I'm not too sure about that one.
Okay, let's go to the left midfielder. I think Robes, you're fast on this one. Rashford, Martial, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli. Who would you go for? All of them have made appearances so far this season.
Martial, I like Martial, but he's not showed up as much as I would like him to. I know Martinelli scored the other day and good goal, but it's only got 1 goal. It's only played X amount of minutes, but Smith Rowe has been exceptional. I think so has Rashford, but you can't really compare Smith Rowe and Rashford. I mean, Smith Rowe's been with England, done really well in that short period he had with England. He's been doing really well with Arsenal, breaking into the team. So for me, the Cordon De Bruyne, Emile Smith Rowe, he has to go in that team, even though Rashford is getting back to form, but it's going to have to be Smith Rowe for me.
James, do you agree?
I'm going to have to go for Rashford. Smith Rowe's been doing well. And to be fair, he has been definitely Arsenal's best player, I think. But it's Rashford. It's like, he's superb, Rashford. He did well against Atalanta and he's doing well. He's coming back from recovery and he's doing well. And I feel like we're rushing it, I think. I feel like these new players coming through are doing well currently, but I feel like we're forgetting about the other players that have been doing it consistently. So I'm going to have to go for Rashford, but I think Smith Rowe, give him more time and he will be definitely up there.
I mean, Smith Rowe played for England in his first game and they scored 10 goals. Coincidence? Not for me. So Smith Rowe, I mean, James knows. I know he's been blinded by the love for Rashford over the years, but this season Smith Rowe has been in the top 5 best players in the whole league. That is a fact. That is a fact. So, sorry, James, we have to go for Smith on the left side because Rashford has basically played very less games. I think his first game was against Leicester. That was like recently. He's been injured the entire season, so we'll go with Smith Rowe. But again, if we did this when you guys come to the Emirates, it possibly could be Rashford after he plays a few games. But we'll go with Smith Rowe. And then on the right side, we have Greenwood, who was fantastic at the beginning of the season but hasn't played recently. I'm not sure why. Sancho, Saka, and Pepe. Now, before I come to you, James, remember Sancho is only Saka's backup in England. Make sure to remember that. Remember, Sancho is the guy who only comes on for Saka when Saka is tired. So who would you go for, James? I'm
going to go for Sancho. I think Gareth Southgate has his favourites, so I think he won't really play. Like, I don't know, it's England, isn't it? So obviously the England lineup's not as everybody wants. I disagree with the decision playing Saka over Sancho. I think when Sancho played this season, yeah, he got to a dodgy start, but the last 4 or 5 games he has been good. And even when people have criticised him for not getting the assists or goals, I still think he's been a top performer. I feel like it's just one of those. I feel like if you give Sancho time, he'll do well. Obviously, we're looking for currently because it is this weekend. But I do think Sancho is currently better than Saka.
Okay, James says Sancho is currently better than Saka. Ruben, if you were just meeting James right now, today was your first time meeting James, would you be surprised to hear that he was a Manchester United fan? It wouldn't be hard to tell, would it? He went for Sancho ahead of Saka.
When you love your club as much as James does about Man United, you have to back him. But Sancho's a better player than Saka, 100%. I feel like he's a better player. I think Greenwood's better than Saka. No, maybe not that far, but I think he's a good player, Saka. But Sancho's definitely better than Saka. I mean, Saka's not coming into the Premier League from a different country. It's not a new league to Saka. Sancho's got to, I know he's English himself, but he's got to adapt to the league, adapt to the way of football, new manager's been sacked. He needs to get to grips with it, and he scored his first goal the other night, which was very good. I know that I'm going to go with Saka on current form. Greenwood's got COVID at the minute, so hopefully we'll be back for the Arsenal game. But Greenwood, good start to the season. Pepe, let's not talk about Pepe, but I'm going to have to go Saka in this one, but I think Sancho's a better player overall.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, it was Greenwood because he was scoring every single game. I remember, I think it's the goal against Leeds in the first game, spectacular goal from the left side. I mean, Sancho has just come through after the Villarreal game. That was his first, second good game after Watford. I don't think it's been great so far this season. Obviously, in terms of better player, you could say that James, but this season, I mean, he was on the bench for 80% of the season so far. He's been on the bench for 80% of the season. Pepe definitely, as Rube said, we're not going to talk about Pepe. I think he'd even be fourth on this list. But Saka has been playing every single game, contributing every single time. And I know that's one that Arsenal fans would not agree with you, James. Arsenal fans on this comment section will definitely not agree with you. Saka is the love of England. Obviously, both of them missed a penalty at the Euros, by the way. But I think it has to be Saka. But again, I'll let people vote on that. Do you have Saka or Sancho in your teams? Attacking midfield, I think this is going to be so easy. James, BRUNO, LINGARD has also come in and scored a couple of goals. ØDEGAARD and LACAZETTE has been playing as a number 10 this season. Who would you go for?
I'm going to go for the Portuguese Magnifico. It's got to be BRUNO. There's no doubt about it. ØDEGAARD, sorry, but you're going to have to get ditched here. It's definitely BRUNO. Goals, assists, he can bring it to the table. Even when he's not getting goals or assists, he's bringing it to the table. He's been in the party for 3 years. And, it's just got to be BRUNO.
I mean, since you said the Magnifico, I can also say thank you in Portuguese. Obrigado, James. Rubes, who would you go for between this four
I agree, 100%. BRUNO, I think he's had 30 assists and 40 goals or something around them numbers, and he's played just under 100 games with the club, and what an impact he's had on the team. And I think this season he's been struggling because of the people around him, but who's actually succeeded in this team so far this season apart from David De Gea? So I'm going to have to go with BRUNO. He pulls the strings and he's going to be slitting Ronaldo in behind. So I'm going with BRUNO, but we'll see what the results like in the end.
I have 2 questions for you guys for this particular player, BRUNO. Who should be a penalty taker, James? BRUNO, Ronaldo?
I think BRUNO. I think Ronaldo's good, but he's a bit. I don't know, because I think he's unpredictable where he's going to go, makes it a good thing. But I think Bruno is always tricking the people. Sometimes he does the hop and the keepers are waiting. They dive early. But then sometimes the keeper are waiting for the hop, but he just smashes it, so they just stood there stunned. I feel like Bruno, he's more consistent. Ronaldo's took more penalties, I think, so that's probably why he's scored more. But I don't know, because we've seen it in the Aston Villa game. Bruno obviously wanted a lot to prove and just tried to smash it. And with Ronaldo coming in, I think that Bruno is a bit worried. Obviously, Ronaldo's a pen taker in Portugal, but Bruno doesn't really play much in Portugal due to the system. But I don't know, it's just one of those. I think Bruno should take it, but obviously if he's failing under the pressure that some players do, just like the Euros, it's got to be Ronaldo.
And Ruben, I think Bruno hasn't scored a goal in 13 games or 14, something like that. Why do you think? What's the reason?
I mean, I think the main problem with that is because you have to create from deep, and you've not got somebody like Pogba or McTominay and Fred won't create from behind him. So he's basically, against that Liverpool and Man City game when we went 5 at the back, it's Ronaldo and Rashford up top with Bruno sat there. So them 3 on the halfway line. Then you've got nobody to providing it. So you've got to create for Bruno to provide him to create. So I think there's not lack of creativity in the team, lack of identity, lack of way of playing football, and lack of going forward. Because when you've got the ball, when Bruno's got the ball, he's looking to his left, to his right, or the central. He's got 3 options: a left winger, right winger, striker. But when we go 5 at the back, you only had 2, and that short period we only had that 5 at the back for not long. But I didn't think it benefited him. But that's not an excuse. But no players really shown in this team, so that's not a worry for me.
Okay, and then last up, James, is the forward line. I mean, Ronaldo's been there, Cavani has been there, Aubameyang has been there. I mean, these players have been compared before, by the way. Ronaldo and Aubameyang used to get compared in terms of goals back when they used to play for Real Madrid and Dortmund, obviously. And then they used to score a lot of goals every single season. They used to be on top of every single list. Ronaldo is still there, so will I be wrong by saying James will definitely go for Ronaldo?
Yeah, I've got to go Ronaldo. You know, he's one of the best players in the world. Probably not now, but I don't see how you could go with Aubameyang or Cavani. Cavani does work hard and will do good under Raul's system. Clearly does like to press, but also Ronaldo does like to press as well. So I think it's got to be Ronaldo.
Ronaldo 100%. I mean, I think he's got 6 goals in 5 Champions League games. Ruben, that is just crazy. And in the league as well, scored 2 on his debut. He scored against West Ham as well, against Tottenham. Do you think he'll get at least 20 goals this season in the league?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely get more goals, and I think probably score against Arsenal as well, just to top it off.
Okay. Let's see. He'll be up against GABRIEL. He'll be up against the might of GABRIEL. So let's see how many players we've got for Arsenal and how many players we've got from Manchester United. So James and Ruben have managed to sneak in a couple of players. So De Gea and Ramsdale, I'll let you guys choose. We have Tavares at left back, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Gabriel and Varane as the centre back partnership. We have PEPE, Van der Beek in midfield, Smith Rowe on the left side, Saka on the right side, and Bruno behind Ronaldo. So that's 5 Arsenal players, 5 United players, and a goalkeeper of your choice. So very, very interesting. I think it's still very equal. I think if you win, you're like 1 point behind us. But if 1 point or 2 points, I'm not even sure. But if we beat you guys, I think it's going to be. I think if we lose to Chelsea and we beat you guys, it's going to be 9 points. That would be very interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be happy if we caught us after that. I wouldn't be happy if we caught us after that. So thank you very much, guys, for coming on, Ruben.
Thank you for having us on.
Awesome. And thank you, James, for coming on as well. So I'll leave their links in the description. Make sure to follow GGMU TV. Make sure to follow James as well on JTTV. Hopefully he'll have me on one of the games called Lies. Hopefully he'll have me there one day, because I'll absolutely smash anyone who's playing against me. So make sure to smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe. I'll appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe. And I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.